Welcome back, children, to our Class 10 Political Science, Chapter 6 Political Parties. This is the second part of our revision session. In the previous lecture, you all tried to understand once again why do we need political parties, wherein we revised the meaning of political parties and then the functions of political parties. Again, we try to recollect the meaning of partisanships and at the end the necessity of political parties by recollecting the idea that society needs a mechanism to support or to restrain the government, make policies, either justify or oppose them. And therefore, we try to understand that the political parties fulfill these needs of every representative government. Today, in the second part of our revision session, we will revise once again the topics like how many parties should we have, and then the types of the political parties, that is about the national parties and the state parties. So let us begin with our today's topic, and that is how many parties should we have. Now children, in a democratic country, everybody have freedom to form political parties. In India, there are more than 750 political parties registered with the Election Commission of India. Now, out of these, 7 are the national political parties and around 52 are the state political parties. The political parties are either recognized or unrecognized political parties. The different countries around the world who are practicing democracy have opted different party systems. In a broader sense, if we talk, the political party system can be divided into 3 categories, and they are one-party system, two-party system, and the multi-party system. So when we talk about one-party system, in some countries only one party is allowed to control and run the government. There is no competition in this system. The single party nominates the candidates and the voters have only 2 options left. Either not to vote at all or write yes or no against the name of the candidates nominated by the party. This system has been popularly practiced in the communist countries like China. It was also prevalent in USSR till disintegration of USSR took place. The one-party system is not considered to be a good option for democracy, as it does not provide a fair chance for competing parties to gain the power. Next is two-party system. In this party system, the power changes between 2 major dominant parties. In this system, to win election, the winner has to get a maximum number of votes, but not necessarily a majority of votes. The smaller parties usually merge with the bigger parties, or they drop out of elections. This parliamentary system exists in United Kingdom and in United States of America, in which only two parties hold significant numbers of seats. The supporters of this system believe that this prevents the dangers of fragmentations, which means too many parties winning seats from different constituencies. So, according to the supporters of the two-party system, they believe that this prevents dangers of fragmentation and the government can run smoothly. But even this system is not considered to be a good option for democracy because the power is changed only between the two parties. Next is the third party system. It is the most common type of party system. In this system, more than two parties have the capacity to gain control of the government, either separately or in coalition. When no party gains a majority of the legislative seats in a multi-party parliamentary system, then several parties they join hands and form a coalition government. India has a multi-party system. Now the supporters of this system, they point out that it allows varieties of interests and opinions to enjoy the political representations. But the critics of this system, they point out that the multi-party system sometimes leads to political instability. Children, when I said India has multi-party system, it means in India the government is formed by various parties coming together in a coalition. These multi-parties join hands for the purpose of contesting and winning, and it is also called as an alliance or front. For example, we have the National Democratic Alliance, that is NDA, led by BJP, or we can say Bharatiya Janata Party, and we have United Progressive Alliance, that is UPA, led by Congress Party. And also we have lefts, which includes CPI, CPM party, etc. in India. Now you must be wondering why India has a multi-party system. The reason is party system evolves over a long period of time depending on the nature of society, its social and regional divisions, and the history of politics as well. The social and geographical diversity of our country is not easily absorbed by two or three parties. Therefore, India has a multi-party system. Now children, let us see the types of political parties. Children, the democratic countries that follow a federal system all over the world tend to have two kinds of political parties. That is, national parties and state parties. The parties that are present in several or all units of the federation are the national parties, whereas the parties that are present in only one of the federal units are called the state parties. In India, there are both national parties and state parties. And every party in India has to be registered with the Election Commission of India. The commission treats every party as equal to the others, but it offers a special facilities to large and established parties. They are given a unique symbol and are called recognized political parties. The national parties are the parties that secure at least 6% of the total votes in Lok Sabha elections or the assembly elections in 4 states and wins at least 4 seats in the Lok Sabha. They are recognized as a national party. As I said earlier, children, every party in the country has to register with the Election Commission of India. These parties are given special facilities by the Election Commission. These parties are given an unique symbol, and only the official candidates of that party can use that election symbol. There are 7 national parties, and they are Indian National Congress, INC, Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, then the Communist Party of India, CPI, Communist Party of India, Marxist, that is CPIM. Then we have Bahujan Samaj Party, that is BSP, All India Trinamool Congress, AITC, and the National Congress Party, that is NCP. Let us see these national parties one by one briefly. And the first one is the Indian National Congress, INC. It is popularly known as the Congress Party, which is one of the oldest parties of the world, founded in 1885 by Alan Octavian Hume. After independence, it became Free India's premier political party. It supports secularism and welfare of the weaker sections and minorities as well. In the first 5 general elections held, the Congress virtually controlled the politics of the country. The present president of the Congress Party is Mrs. Sonia Gandhi. The next national party is Bharatiya Janata Party. It was founded in 1980 by reviving the Bharatiya Jana Sangha, which was created by Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. The aim of the party is to build a strong and modern India by drawing inspirations from India's ancient culture and values. It came to power in 1998 as the leader of the National Democratic Alliance, that is NDA, including several state and regional parties. Children, it is now in government. The present president of BJP is Mr. J.P. Nadda. Next is Communist Party of India, CPI. This party was founded in 1925, which believes in Marxism and Leninism, secularism and democracy. It opposes the forces of secessionism and communalism. It believes that The parliamentary democracy helps in the interest of farmers, the working class, and the poor. It has a significant presence in Kerala, West Bengal, Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. The present president of CPI is Mr. D. Raja. The other national party is Communist Party of India, Marxist, which is also called as CPIM. This political party split it from CPI in 1964. It believes in Marxism and Leninism philosophy. It supports socialism, secularism, and democracy, and it opposes imperialism and communalism. The supporters of CPIM are the farmers, agricultural laborers, and intellectuals. The presence or the influence of CPIM could be seen in West Bengal, Tripura, and Kerala. The present General Secretary of CPIM is Mr. Sitaram Yechuri. Next is Bahujan Samaj Party, that is BSP. It was founded in 1984 under the leadership of Mr. Kanshiram. This party represents Bahujan Samaj, which includes OBCs, SCs, STs, and the religious minorities. We can say those who are at the bottom of the India's caste system. The successor of Mr. Kansiram is Miss Mayavati. It is inspired from the teachings of Shahu Maharaj, Mahatma Phule, and Periyar Ramaswamy Naicker. BSP has its main base in Uttar Pradesh and substantial presence in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Delhi, and Punjab. The next national party is All India Trinamool Congress, that is AITC. This party was formed on 1st January 1998 under the leadership of Ms. Mamata Banerjee. It got recognition as a national party in 2016. It has its presence in West Bengal, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, and Tripura. And now the last national party is the National Congress Party. It was formed in 1999 by Mr. Sharad Pawar, Mr. P.A. Sangma, and Mr. Tariq Anwar after a split in the Congress Party. It supports democracy, Gandhian secularism, equity, social justice, and federalism. Its presence can be seen in Maharashtra, Meghalaya, Manipur, and Assam. The present president of NCP is Mr. Sharad Pawar. Now let us understand about state or regional political parties. A party that secures at least 6% of the total votes in an election to the Legislative Assembly of a state and wins at least 2 seats is recognized as a state party. These are commonly referred to as regional parties. The regional parties need not be regional in their ideology or outlook. Some of these parties are all India parties that happen to have succeeded only in some states. Parties like Samajwadi Party, Samata Party, and Rashtriya Janata Dal have national level political organization with units in several states. Whereas some of these parties like Biju Janata Dal, Sikkim Democratic Front, and Mizo National Front are conscious about their state identity. Now, over the last 3 decades, the number and strength of these parties have expanded. This made the Parliament of India politically more and more diverse. No national party is able to secure majority on its own in Lok Sabha. As a result, the national parties are compelled to form alliances with the state parties. From 1996 onwards, nearly every state party has got an opportunity to be a part of one or the other national level coalitions government. Now, this has led to the strengthening of federalism and democracy in our country. So, children, with this, we come to an end of this session wherein we could revise the topics like how many parties should we have, and also about the types of parties, that is national party and the state parties. I hope, children, all the terms are very clear to you all. These are some of the important topics you have which will be asked in your exam papers. Study well, children, for your exam. Take care and have a good day.